Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We are Stick to Eagle, and thanks for tuning in for this video. Before we start, some of you might wonder, more trails, more adventures? Don't you need to get a job? To answer that question, it is important to state that I realize that so many people in this country, and maybe many of you, are struggling. I pray for them and I pray for you to no longer struggle. I want to continue to provide you with the content, with good content, hopefully, and tell you where I am going next. But first, I want to acknowledge your support and explain a little bit of how I am able to do this in the first place. A few years ago, I was able to book Antarctica on an amazing deal while I was still employed as a pastor and my future looked steady. Even then, I booked the lowest available cabin, a quad, sharing with 3 other people that I would not know until I got to the boat. Now, I learned when I did get to the boat that they actually gave me a double instead of a quad, but I had booked a quad to get the cheapest possible cabin and rate. My bucket list for travel is not cheap, but I skimp and save in the rest of my life to be able to afford these adventures. I save wherever I possibly can, not eating out too much, saving on rent, whatever it takes to have more savings for the future. And the help and support that I got from so many of you on the AT, the Appalachian Trail, made such a difference. I never expected to get enough subscribers to monetize the channel. And I appreciate everyone who watches and contributes. This journey has been such a blessing, a surprise for me many times. I didn't think I'd be doing this many videos or that I would even continue doing this past the Appalachian Trail vlogs. But here we are, thanks to you guys making a monetized channel possible and turning it into a little bit of a side position for me to keep traveling. The YouTube revenue from both the Appalachian Trail and Antarctica has put me in a position to continue to create content for you. I've also built up an emergency fund through my years of savings, which makes being without a job for a few months, these next season till June, a little less scary. I also should mention that I owe thanks to my parents who paid for my college, allowing me to start off with no debt. That has significantly helped me build up savings. But I would not have been able to do this without your support. And that's why I'm thanking you right now before I announce what is next. Your support on my channel allows me to have enough income, even without a job, to continue sharing adventures with you as long as I continue to be thrifty. Now, I'm not sure how long it can last, and I'm not sure how long I can count on it because the number of views and the number of watch time dictates how much I actually do earn, which dictates whether I will continue to be able to trust in the ability to fund future adventures. But what I do know is that regardless of what the spring brings and how much income I make from the spring adventures, I have the next 2 months free from the end of April to the beginning of June or the middle of June to do adventures without a job. I have the job starting in summer camp in the summertime, which is great and which I'm really looking forward to, being climbing director again at that point. I'm not going to start a new job now because it'd just be for 2 months. So I have these next 2 months to explore, try to make the most of the time that has been given to me. So here is what we are going to do about that, regardless of what September looks like and whether or not I can continue to fund adventures come September or land another job. That will be a question for then. But now is the springtime that I can use these 7 weeks that I have to the best possible way to continue to explore and do the best I can to have fun, be thrifty, and share it with you. So I am announcing my next trip. which is going to be a trip south to the southeastern part of this country. We are going to travel to more national parks. You may know that it is my goal to visit all 63 national parks in our country. So far, I have been to 17 of them, many of which were on my 2023 trip out west after I lost my job as a pastor. And I wanted to use the unexpected time that I had to explore and have fun, to try to bring light to a negative situation by exploring parks. Well, now we're going to continue that bucket list dream of changing our 17 visited to 21 visited. We have 4 national parks on the plan for this immediate next season, for the next couple weeks here. And those 4 parks are going to be Congaree National Park, our first stop in South Carolina. And then we're going to go south to Florida. There's 3 national parks in the state of Florida. Those 3 parks are the Everglades National Park, the Key Biscayne National Park, and Dry Tortugas National Park. Now, in the Everglades National Park, that is actually right where the Florida Trail ends. As soon as the Florida Trail hits the border of the Everglades, after Big Cypress National Preserve, I think it's called, it goes through there, and then it hits the border of the national park and ends there. And then there's, if you wanted to continue to do the ECT, the Eastern Continental Trail, there's a little bit of a road walk that goes all the way to the Keys to get you to the Eastern Continental Terminus. But Everglades is a very huge park, and there are some remote campsites in the park as well. Sometimes what most people do is get an airboat tour or go to the visitor centers, do a couple of the small hiking paths. And I would like to do some of the small hiking paths and go to the visitor centers, get my stamp. But what I am dreaming of doing, there is a 99-mile wilderness waterway that if you rent a kayak or canoe, you could backcountry camp on that wilderness waterway. Now, I'm not sure how much time I'll have, given that I'm working around my Dry Tortugas ticket, which is May the 3rd. Now, we're backing up a little bit. These videos are still quite far behind because my Antarctica vlogs backlogged me a little bit because I couldn't post those when I was in Antarctica, so I had to schedule them out. And now I'm just scheduling these videos for the next possible free days afterwards, so they're still behind. But it's the 3rd week of April, and we have till May 3rd until that Dry Tortugas ticket. So I have about a week, maybe a little bit more, to travel that wilderness waterway. And I think even if I did not do all 99 miles of that, I think it'd be a wonderful experience to share with all of you, and just not really backpacking, but water packing, I guess, on this waterway, something I've never done before. It'd be a great way to experience a little bit more solitude with my tent again, with all my backpacking gear, just on the water, and there's campsites on the water. So it'd be a unique experience. Now, I don't have a confirmed reservation for that. I'm hoping I can just you reserve campsites, which is easy enough to do. There's a lot of availability because not a lot of people do this wilderness waterway. The main question of whether I can do this will be whether they allow me to rent a kayak or a canoe, which I think they will, but I'll have to investigate that more when I get down there. It's just a kind of a spur of a moment, spontaneous idea that I have about doing that. But I am going to Everglades regardless of whether we can do that or not. If I can't do that, my backup plan is to explore the Florida Trail a little bit more deeply, because they have, well, the Florida Trail is right there. So I downloaded the Florida Trail to my Far Out, and that's my backup plan if I can't do this wilderness waterway, to do a piece of the Florida Trail. So regardless, that'll be how we spend the first week down in Florida. Stay tuned to see how it will go, because I don't even know exactly how it will go yet. And once we're done with the Everglades, then we're going to go to Biscayne National Park. And I booked a small little trip there on a boat to see a little bit about Biscayne. Now, Biscayne is pretty much all water, so you kind of have to go out on the water to explore what is out there. So we're going to spend a day in Biscayne and see on the way to the Key West and Dry Tortugas to see what we can see and try to experience the park and get these 4 southeastern national parks checked off my list and try to experience it the best I can, so that I'm not just going to the visitor center and saying I went there. I want to experience each one of these parks. And it's worth saying that some people will spend a lot of money on a Florida trip like this, but I am continuing to be very vigilant to my values of saving money wherever I can. So my intention is to backcountry camp wherever I can and not spend money on hotels. I think the only place where I'll really have to spend money on a hotel is in Key West the night before I'm due to go to Dry Tortugas. So after Biscayne, I am going to drive down the Keys. There are a few campgrounds available throughout the Keys that I may be able to get a reservation at, depending on where I'm at the appropriate time. I'm trying to just go at a relaxed pace, so it doesn't really matter where I get to on a particular day. I don't need that schedule just dictating the pace of my life. I want to have just a relaxed pace, kind of like what I sort of learned how to do on the AT. After about halfway through, I learned just to be relaxed. It doesn't matter how far I go. I want to have the same experience here as well. So, but I do know I need to be at Key West by May 2nd because I did book the only ferry available in this next month. There was 1 ticket left when I looked at possibly doing this trip while I was editing up my Antarctica videos from the past week. And I was like, I wonder if I could get to these national parks. And the hardest national park of all of these to visit would be Dry Tortugas, because you either need to take a boat or a plane to get there. So I looked at the reservations, and Yankee Freedom is the name of the boat that takes you there. And it was my most expensive thing that I've booked so far, is the boat, about $200, but it's a one-time visit thing, and I'm still limiting my budget wherever I can. But anyway, that is May 3rd. So I'll be visiting Dry Tortugas on a day visit on May 3rd and then going back to Key West. So that's my plan. And after that, I can either continue to go on the Florida Trail a little bit as I work my way north, and it'll be second week of May. I would love to go to the Natchez Trace Parkway and Natchez Trace National Scenic Trail. That is one of the 11 National Scenic Trails, and it's only about 86 miles of hiking. You could walk the parkway, but I think some people have walked the parkway when I've talked about through hiking the Natchez Trace Trail. That gets very boring very quickly, all that road walking. I think it'd be a lot simpler and easier and legal, because there are no official rules after talking to a ranger about that, about yellow blazing up the parkway and just hiking the actual trail miles of the Natchez Trace Trail. So that is my plan for the second week of May, to head north up the Natchez Trace Parkway till I get to Tennessee, and then I'll be relatively close to Damascus, Virginia for the third week of May to visit the Trail Days experience there, I'm hoping. So then I'll come back to Ohio, to this place, to wrap up that trip and then see what's next, and hopefully start planning a White Mountains trip to get more of the 4,000 footers done in June before I start summer camp. So by June, a lot of the peaks will be snow-free, hopefully. So you may know that I visited 20 of the 48 4,000 footers in New Hampshire on my Appalachian Trail through hike, and that means I have 28 left. So it'd be nice to accumulate some more of those, or about 10-day period, perhaps, maybe a little less than a 10-day period by the time I get over there. So that's my plan for the spring and how I'm going to use this spring to travel with you and also show you my appreciation while also continuing to fulfill some of my travel and bucket list goals. And then I know what I'll be doing for the summer, and we'll see where we go for the fall. The fall will really depend on whether I'm offered a job, one, and second, whether I can actually financially fund how else would you fund if it wasn't financial? But financially fund another hike if I wanted to do that. I do want to do that, but the question is it financially smart? Is it sound to be able to do that? Would I make enough money on here to actually fund that hike? Because I do not want to be in the red for 2025. I don't want to spend more money than I've made. So if I realize that I'm not making more money than I've spent, then that's going to be a real cue that I just need to stop this channel for now and work for a while until I get to a point where I can be comfortable. But of course that disrupts the flow of the channel and everything too, but that's okay. We'll just see what the story is once we actually get to that point in the fall. So to sum up, I appreciate all the support financially through views and through your comments and likes on videos. They all help it to be more likely to fund future hikes for Stick to Eagle in the future if you want to see us go on future hikes and adventures. I also very much value continuing to be open with you about my feelings and thoughts as I travel the road that is ahead of me, whatever it may be. It's all about being open with one another and sharing empathy where appropriate. You have done that for me, and I hope that I can do that for you in some way. I honestly create the space to be more open with myself, even when I am on a journey, not when I am stressed about some situation that I tried to press out of my mind so that I can talk about something. For example, when I am working at the school and I took a weekend hike and tried to post something to check in with you guys, but I was stressed on the inside, just trying to put that out of my mind in order to make a video or make some inspirational content or something like that. But when I'm on a journey, like when I was in Antarctica, or when I have the freedom to not be stressed about that right now, I have a lot more time to be open with myself about where I'm at, what I'm feeling. There's actually room to feel instead of just be stressed, if you know what that means. And that means quite a bit. But I recognize that we can't all do that. We can't all go on journeys like this. I've been blessed to be able to, thanks to your support. And if I am blessed to continue to be able to do these journeys, it will be solely through your support. I will not be able to continue to do these journeys if you guys aren't watching these videos to provide ad revenue and things to fund future adventures. For some of us, if you can't go on a larger journey, like I've been blessed to take you along with me, it can be the small moments that we can remove ourselves from the rest that tries to bring us down. Value those small moments. When that is all that we have, we can lean on others. And I fully give you my permission to lean on me as I have leaned on you as well. We all deal with challenges, and it is healthy to talk about them. Some hikers that I have watched just talk about the views and the miles, and I've wanted to be different than that from the start. I've wanted to be real with you, tell you my thoughts, and tell you how I feel about whatever is going on in my life, whatever circumstances I might be dealing with. I want to feel like we are together on this journey, as if you were right next to me on the trail or the boat or wherever, in the car, whatever, and we could talk about our challenges as if we were on the trail or the journey together. And I really feel like we have been on this journey together, especially those of you who've been following and commenting almost every video from day one. I really feel like we're on this journey together. I see your familiar face pop up in the comments, and I'm like, oh, it's Connie again. Oh, it's RV. It's all of you guys. Kathy, Jeff, Dreamcatcher, Dina, Deb, Carrie, Dawn, all of you guys, Sue, who continue to Fish and RVer, comment, and I see repeatedly, it makes me feel like I am journeying with you as you comment or tell me what you think. Or if you were on that journey, what would you do? Would you make the same choice that I did? Things like that. So if you feel like we're actually talking together, and if you think about it, we kind of are. We are kind of on the trail together when we engage that way, or when some of you message me on Instagram or Facebook and just ask for advice on something or tell me what you're dealing with. And some of you have done that. I really appreciate getting that opportunity to know you and get more connected to you that way. We both feel lonely sometimes, I'm sure. We both can use the company. So here we are, and I'm hoping that we can continue to adventure together. But we'll see how far we can do that for. But for now, we are going to go on another adventure to Florida together. And I hope that you will come along with me to see what we can see there. And then if you follow along for that, then it's more likely that if we don't have a job offer, that we can do more hiking in the future. Or even if we do have a job in the fall, we can still dream of our next hike together. So just thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. Thank you for viewing. I had no vision of this many of you wanting to watch and be here for so long. I'm just overjoyed and flattered by the fact that you are continuing to watch these videos. You don't need to. You don't need to take this valuable time out of your day to get to this point, or even to watch to the end, which you have here on this video. So I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for really caring about me, supporting me, and let's do the same for each other. Let me do the same for you as you have for me as well. So wherever you go, thank you, and wherever you are, I hope that you can embrace your journey in the way that your journey is unfolding. So be blessed, be kind to one another, and let's keep talking together. Always, wherever you go, embrace the journey and happy trails.